Just when I thought I had standards, here I am, making a video hyping up the exchange French for white. God help us all. All for the algorithm. This is what rock bottom looks like, apparently. Let's check out the first of a few miniatures where white revives this limp opening, and it's all thanks to the move c4. Black usually can't resist grabbing the first chance to create an IQP, helping white develop this bishop at once, instead of waiting for it to come out d3 first. Then knight f6, knight f3, bishop d6, white castles, black castles, knight c3 and bishop g4. So far, pretty standard. Except for this pin, which really gets under the skin because this knight is super important in the IQP setup, defending d4 and ready to jump into the king set attack with knight e5. Let me tell you something, if you play passively here, you're basically allowing black to build their blockade on d5, and they might even end up with a slight edge. So Ivanchuk responds with h3. After bishop h5, he plays g4. It's weakening, of course, but the key idea is that after bishop g6, the knight jumps in with a brutal threat of f4 and f5, trapping the bishop. For instance, if knight bd7, there is f4 and black is already in trouble. And if bishop e4 instead, well, g5 simply wins immediately. The most played move here is c5, like Vila Gazquez did. Black's trying to mess with the knight on e5 and open up the center since white's king is pretty exposed. Sounds reasonable, but is it already too late? White's actually winning right away with a cool tactical trick. It starts with trading on g6 and c5 to open the d file. Then comes bishop takes f7 check, forcing the king to take. After that, queen b3 check, kicking the king out into the open. Now, if king e7, it's insta-mate after rook e1 check, king d7, queen e6 check, king c7 and knight b5. Okay, let's go back. Gazquez tried king e8, so that after rook e1, the king survives thanks to bishop e7. But after bishop f4, which threatens rook a d1 and bishop d6, there's not much black can do. The best is rook f7, but then knight b5 announcing there are more threats such as knight c7 and knight d6. Black played king f8, then knight c7 threatens the rook, but also this deadly fork on e6. For that reason, queen c8 was played. Then knight e6, king e8, knight g5, rook f8, and then rook takes e7, knocking out the last defender. Now rook e1 also wins, but queen b4 check is the most precise. If king e8, rook e1 check followed by queen d6 mate. If king d8, white plays rook d1 check, and after knight bd7, just queen takes f8, game over. In the actual game, black tried king d7, but after queen d6 check, king e8 and rook e1 check, it was time for a handshake. Alright, now let's see what happens when black does not grab the pawn on c4 right away, but waits for the bishop to develop first. Actually, black's still dodging that pawn grab, rushing instead to deliver this annoying check. You might wonder if white messed up by letting it happen, especially after knight g4 shows up. But look how lonely the black king suddenly is. With white ahead in development, you just know a tactical storm is about to hit. For example, if you just let their rook grab the pawn at the end, there's knight takes d5 fork. If black tries c6 instead, we have knight e5, threatening all kinds of things. For instance, if rook e7, there's bishop takes h7, queen h5 check, a rook takes f7, followed by queen takes f7, queen h5, knight g6, and black is cooked because queen h8 and rook f1 are coming. And if you're wondering what happens after bishop e6, thinking black's happy because white ends up with a backward pawn, here's what actually happens. C takes d5, bishop takes d5, knight takes d5, queen takes d5, and knight e5, hitting f7 and threatening bishop c4. So for all these reasons, black first takes on c3, and then on e3 with a knight. You might be wondering why not rook takes e3 instead, trying to grab that pawn and simplify at the same time. Well, the knight's trapped. That means white isn't forced to take it right away. There is time for an attacking move. And how about knight g5? What a move. If queen takes g5, it's game over with a back rank mate. And if g6, we just take on f1 and get our last piece in on the action. There's also a beautiful line if black tries f5. White can take on d5 or play rook e1. Both of these are perfectly fine. But I like the brutality of bishop takes f5. If bishop recaptures on f5, rook takes f5, g takes f5, and then queen e6 check, king g7, queen f7 check, king h6, and there is knight e6. That's it. But in this position, you're probably asking yourself, why not g takes f5 instead? Then white goes rook e1, threatening queen e8. And if bishop d7, there is queen h5 with queen takes h7. And if queen takes g5, white goes queen e8 check, king g7, rook e7 check, king h6, queen f8 check, king h5, rook takes h7 check, king g4, rook g7, winning, thanks to the black's completely undeveloped queen side. In the actual game, black went for knight takes e3, and after f takes e, he just gave up on taking that pawn, realizing it was poisonous. And indeed, after rook takes e3 and knight e5 again, black basically has to sacrifice the rook, either on e5 or d3. If he tries to keep material with f6, white plays queen h5. Let's say black still insists on keeping material and plays h6. Then queen f7 check, king h8, and here almost anything wins, but I like rook takes f6. The rook cannot be taken because of knight g6 mate. And if the rook sack happens now on e5, queen f8 mate follows. If it takes on d3 instead, well, then there is rook takes h6, followed by knight g6 mate. All this mess happens because black's queenside pieces never left home. Let's go back to this position where black chose this calm move bishop e6. Now queen b1 hits both b7 and h7. But white had another strong idea. Knight e5. Black thought the knight was just protecting c4, so he took there, expecting some trades to happen. And what came next hit pretty hard. Bishop takes h7. One more time, thematic shot. King takes h7. Queen h5 check, king g8, knight takes f7, threatening queen h8. If bishop takes f7, queen takes f7, king h7, there is rook f5, followed by rook h5 mate. So the only thing left for black was to give up the queen. White took, and then played knight g5, threatening queen g6, queen h7, and queen takes rook on e8, all at once. That meant it was time for black to resign. Now you've got almost everything you need to play the exchange French. And yeah, c4 is a huge part of the story. But if you play knight f3 first and wait for bishop d6, c4 hits even harder. And here's a little trick. If knight e7, you just win with c5. It's easy to spot and no serious players falling for it. But that bishop on d6, well, it's a bit misplaced when you transpose into the c4 line. And what else is there to say? This is all you need to start beating everyone in 5 to 10 moves. You're basically a wild dog now, leash snapped, teeth out, chasing every French defense player in sight. Hey, stay tuned, soon there will be another video to humiliate your opponents in the same opening, this time with black.